The night was cold and quiet. Wind moved softly through the broken trees. Above, stars shone like silver eyes watching the lonely planet below. Ethan Walker pulled his coat tighter as he walked down the empty road. He was returning from his long patrol near the crash site, the strange object that had fallen from the sky 2 nights ago. Everyone in town was talking about it, saying it was a meteor. But Ethan had seen the light himself. It didn't fall like a stone. It moved like it was alive. He kept walking, boots pressing against wet mud. Then he saw something ahead, a small figure sitting by the roadside, shaking. At first he thought it was a child. He ran closer. The girl was thin, wrapped in torn cloth, her skin pale like moonlight. Her eyes, bright silver, and stared at him in fear. "Hey," Ethan said softly, taking off his coat. "It's okay. You're safe." She didn't speak. She only shivered, watching him with wide eyes. He placed his coat around her shoulders. The fabric swallowed her small body. "Can you hear me? What's your name?" The girl opened her mouth, but no sound came out. Only a soft humming like wind passing through glass. Her hands glowed faintly blue for a second, then the light faded. Ethan froze. What was that? The girl looked down, ashamed, and whispered, "Cold. Home. Gone." He didn't understand, but he saw her tears. They weren't clear, they were silver, shining under the moonlight. Ethan's heart pounded. He looked around. The forest was silent now. Too silent, the kind of silence that comes before danger. He gently lifted the girl. "You're freezing. I'll take you somewhere warm." She tried to resist, shaking her head, but she was too weak. Her small hands clutched his sleeve like she was afraid of something behind them. As they walked, the air grew colder. Ethan glanced back, and for a moment he thought he saw a shape among the trees, a tall, dark figure with glowing red eyes. Then it was gone. Ethan quickened his pace. "Don't worry. You're safe now." But deep down he wasn't sure. They reached his cabin on the hill. Inside he lit the fire and placed her near it. The flames painted her face in orange light. Her hair was silver white, smooth like liquid metal. Ethan offered her a cup of hot water. She held it with both hands, staring at the steam like she didn't know what it was. "You're not from around here, are you?" Ethan asked. She looked at him, eyes glowing softly again. "No, not here." He waited, hoping she would say more. But she only stared at the window, where stars shimmered like they were calling to her. Then she whispered, almost to herself, "They're coming." Ethan frowned. "Who's coming?" She turned to him, fear in her glowing eyes. "Hunters? From sky." Before Ethan could ask anything, a loud sound shook the cabin, a deep, distant thunder. But the sky was clear. No clouds. Ethan grabbed his rifle and stepped outside. Over the horizon he saw lights moving, bright red streaks across the night. Not planes, not meteors, something else. He turned back to the girl. She was standing now, stronger, her hands glowing again. The air around her shimmered like heat. "Stay back," Ethan shouted. She looked scared but calm at the same time. "They find me." "They find you too. Who are you?" Ethan demanded. "What are you?" The girl looked down, her voice trembling. "I am lost. Mother will come." "Your mother?" Ethan asked. The girl nodded. "She will destroy." "All to find me." Ethan's heart went cold. The ground trembled again as red lights filled the sky. He realized then, this was no ordinary child, and whoever her mother was. The world might not survive her arrival. The sky turned red before dawn. Ethan stood on the porch staring at the strange lights moving like fireflies in the distance. They were coming closer, fast and silent. Inside the cabin, the alien girl sat near the fire, wrapped in his coat. Her silver hair glowed faintly and her bright eyes followed the light outside. "They found me," she whispered. Ethan turned to her. "Who are they?" She didn't answer. She only stood up, trembling, her small hands glowing blue again. The fire flickered and bent toward her like it was alive. Ethan took a step back, his heart pounding. "You need to tell me what's going on." "Who are you? Why are they after you?" The girl looked at him with sadness in her silver eyes. "They are hunters. My mother made them. They serve her. They never stop." "Your mother sent them?" Ethan asked, confused. "Why would she hunt her own child?" "She doesn't know I'm alive," the girl said softly. "She thinks I am lost forever. If she finds me, she will burn this world to ash to keep me safe." Ethan couldn't believe what he was hearing, but the fear in her voice was real. Outside, the sound of engines roared. Deep, metallic, not human. The ground trembled again. The air smelled of electricity. Ethan grabbed his old rifle and looked through the window. Shapes moved through the fog. Tall metal figures with glowing red eyes scanning the trees. He whispered, "They're not human." The girl stepped closer to him. "You can't fight them. They are not from this world. Then what do we do?" Ethan asked. She looked toward the forest. "Run!" They left the cabin and ran into the dark woods. Cold wind cut through the trees. Behind them, red lights flashed like eyes in the fog. The machines were fast, too fast. Ethan carried the girl when she stumbled. His breath came out in sharp gasps. "We can't keep running forever," he said. The girl pointed ahead. "Water, there!" Through the trees, a river shimmered under the faint light of dawn. They reached the bank, but the current was strong. Ethan looked back. The hunters were close now. He could see their tall silver bodies, their arms turning into glowing weapons. The girl looked at the river, then at Ethan. "You go." "Leave me." Ethan shook his head. "No, I'm not leaving you." Her eyes softened. "You don't understand. If they take me, they won't hurt you." Ethan tightened his grip on his rifle. "If I walk away, I won't live with myself. Let's move." The girl hesitated, then nodded. Together they stepped into the icy water. The current pulled hard, but Ethan held her tightly. Behind them, lasers sliced through the air, lighting up the forest. Trees exploded into fire. They reached the other side, soaked and shivering. The girl coughed, her skin flickering with faint light. Ethan helped her to her feet. From across the river, the hunters stopped. They scanned the water but didn't cross. Their red eyes dimmed for a moment. Then one of them raised its arm and sent a signal into the sky. A single beam of red light shot upward. The girl gasped. "They called her—" Ethan turned. "Called who?" She whispered, voice breaking. "Mother." Far above, in the dark clouds, something moved. Massive and silent. A shadow blocked the stars. A ship, larger than any human craft, glided across the sky like a floating city. Lightning cracked around it, turning the night into bright silver. Ethan could feel the ground shake beneath his feet. "Is that her?" he asked. The girl nodded slowly. "Yes, she is here." Ethan looked at her. "What will she do?" "She will destroy everything until she finds me." Ethan looked back toward the burning forest. The hunters stood still now, waiting. He realized there was no way to fight them, but maybe there was a way to hide her. "We need help," he said. "Someone who knows about this." "No one knows," she whispered. "No one can stop her." Ethan thought for a moment. "Then we'll try." The girl looked at him with hope and fear mixed in her eyes. "Why do you help me?" Ethan gave a small smile. "Because that's what humans do. We don't leave someone behind." The girl blinked, almost in tears. For the first time she looked calm. Above them, thunder rolled again. The sky opened and a beam of red light hit the forest behind them. Trees turned to ash. Ethan grabbed her hand. "We move now." They ran deeper into the valley as the world behind them burned. The alien girl looked back once, her mother's ship hanging in the clouds, a red eye watching the planet below. Her voice was soft, full of sorrow. "If she sees me, your world will die." Ethan looked up at the glowing sky and said, "Then we'll make sure she doesn't." And with that, they vanished into the dark woods, hunted by machines, chased by a mother who could destroy worlds. The sun rose weakly over the valley, painting the smoke in red and gold. Ethan and the alien girl had been walking all night. Their clothes were wet, their bodies cold, but they didn't stop. Behind them, the forest still burned. The great ship in the sky had vanished, but its shadow still haunted the horizon. Ethan looked at the girl, walking silently beside him. She looked human now, too human, except for her silver hair that caught the light and glowed faintly. "What's your name?" he asked softly. The girl hesitated. "Name?" "Yes," Ethan said. "You must have one." She looked down, thinking. "Mother called me." "Airy, Airy," Ethan repeated. "That's beautiful." She smiled faintly. "It means light of the small star." Ethan smiled back. "Well, Airy, we need to find a place to hide. The hunters will come again." Airy nodded, but her eyes looked toward the mountains in the distance. "There," she whispered. "Under the mountain, there is a place." They reached the rocky slopes by noon. The ground was dry and cracked. Strange symbols were carved into the stone, symbols Ethan had never seen before. Airy touched one of them. It glowed faintly blue under her hand. What is this? Ethan asked. Old gate, she said. My people built it long ago, before Mother became queen. Queen? Ethan repeated. Your mother rules your people? Ari nodded slowly. Yes, she was kind once. But war changed her. She made machines hunters, weapons that obey her voice. She lost her heart when Father died. Ethan frowned. And you? Why did you come here? Ari's voice shook. I didn't come. I was sent away, hidden, to keep me safe from her enemies. And from her. Ethan placed a hand on her shoulder. Then let's keep you hidden a little longer. She smiled weakly, then pressed her glowing hand against the stone symbol. The ground rumbled. The rock cracked open, revealing a dark tunnel leading deep into the mountain. Ethan stared in disbelief. That's impossible. Ari looked at him. Not impossible, just forgotten. Inside, the air was cold, but still. The tunnel walls shimmered with faint light, as if the rock itself remembered the stars. They walked for what felt like hours. Then the tunnel opened into a vast chamber, a forgotten base buried deep beneath the mountain. Giant machines rested silently along the walls, covered in dust. Holograms flickered weakly, showing maps of unknown worlds. Ethan whispered, This isn't human technology. Ari walked to a console and placed her hand on it. The machines came alive. Soft blue lights filled the room. This place was made by the old ones, she said. My people used it to travel between worlds. Ethan's eyes widened. You mean this thing can open portals? Ari nodded. Yes, but it needs energy, a lot of it, and the core is almost dead. Ethan looked at her. Can you fix it? Ari hesitated. Maybe, but if I wake it, Mother will feel me. She will know I am alive. Ethan thought for a moment. And if you don't? She will keep searching, Ari said softly. And more worlds will burn. Ethan clenched his fists. Then we need to find a way to stop her. Ari looked up at him, eyes glowing softly. You cannot stop her, Ethan. She commands an army across the stars. Maybe not alone, he said. But Earth isn't weak. We fight back. She tilted her head, curious. Even when you cannot win? Ethan smiled faintly. That's what makes us human. Ari looked at him for a long moment. Then she nodded. Then I will help you. They worked together for hours. Ethan brought tools from an old locker, and Ari repaired glowing circuits with her bare hands. Each time she touched the metal, it hummed softly like it remembered her. As they worked, Ethan asked, If this gate opens, where does it lead? Ari paused. Home to her. But maybe also to the truth. The truth? Ethan asked. My mother doesn't know what really happened, Ari said quietly. She believes the humans killed my father. But it was not your kind. It was her own generals, the ones who wanted war. Ethan's eyes widened. So she's destroying planets for a lie? Ari nodded. Yes, and if she finds out I live, they will kill her to keep their secret. Ethan felt a chill. Then we need to show her the truth before it's too late. Before Ari could answer, the mountain shook violently. Rocks fell from above. Ethan grabbed her arm. What's happening? She looked up, her face pale. They found us. The walls cracked and red light filled the chamber. The sound of metal footsteps echoed through the tunnels. Ari turned to Ethan. You must protect the gate. I will hold them. No. Ethan shouted. You'll die. She smiled sadly. Maybe. But if they take me alive, your world dies anyway. Ethan hesitated, his heart pounding. Then he reached for her hand. We fight together. Ari looked at him, eyes glowing brighter than ever. Then together it is. The hunters entered the chamber. Red eyes, metal armor, and weapons ready. Ethan raised his rifle. Ari raised her hands, blue light swirling around her. The air shook as man and alien stood side by side, ready to face an army born from the stars. The chamber trembled as the hunters marched in. Their red eyes glowed through the dust, scanning for movement. Metallic steps echoed, cold and steady. Ethan and Ari stood side by side, one human with an old rifle, one alien with hands glowing like living fire. Ethan whispered, When I shoot, you move. Ari nodded silently. The air around her shimmered, small sparks dancing across her skin. Then the first hunter raised its arm. A flash of red light shot across the room, a laser beam. Ethan dove behind a metal console. The beam sliced through stone, leaving it molten and smoking. Aerie lifted her hands. Blue light burst from her palms, forming a shield that rippled like water. The next blast hit it. The light curved away, striking another hunter instead. The machine exploded in a shower of sparks. Ethan peeked out, fired his rifle. The bullet hit a hunter's joint, slowing it down. He reloaded quickly. "We can't fight them all," he shouted. Aerie's voice was calm but firm. "We don't have to. We just need time." "Time for what?" Ethan asked. She looked at the glowing core on the wall, the ancient gate starting to wake up. To open the portal, the chamber filled with chaos. Hunters fired from every direction. The blue light from Aerie's hands grew brighter, forming a wave that knocked several machines back. Ethan moved through smoke, firing and dodging. Every shot echoed in the metal halls. The air smelled like burning oil and ozone, but the hunters were too many. For every one that fell, two more entered. Ethan ducked behind a fallen pillar. "We're surrounded!" Aerie's face was pale. Her power was fading. Sparks from her shield flickered weakly. "The gate needs more energy." She stumbled, almost falling. Ethan rushed to her side. "You can't keep this up." She looked at him with tired eyes. "If I stop, we die." Then she placed her hand on his chest. "Ethan, there's something I can do." "But it will hurt you," he blinked. "What do you mean?" She took a deep breath. "Your heart, it beats with life energy." "Human energy. I can use it to power the gate." Ethan frowned. "You'll drain me?" She looked down. "A little. Enough to open the door." He hesitated only a second. "Do it." Aerie's hand glowed brighter. Blue light spread across his chest, through his veins. Ethan gasped as warmth filled his body. Then pain. His knees buckled. The gate behind them roared to life. Rings of light spun, ancient symbols shining again after centuries. Aerie looked at him, her eyes full of sorrow. "I'm sorry." He grinned weakly. "Don't be. Just make it count." Then the ceiling exploded. More hunters dropped from above, landing like metal giants. Their leader stepped forward, taller than the rest, with a crown of red light around its head. It spoke, its voice deep and mechanical. "Surrender the child." "By order of the Queen." Aerie raised her head. "Tell her, I am no child." The leader aimed its weapon. "Then die as one." Before it fired, Aerie screamed, not in fear but fury. Her body flared with blinding blue light. The air cracked like thunder. Waves of energy rushed outward, throwing hunters across the room. Ethan shielded his face. The sound was deafening. When the light faded, half the hunters were down, melted into slag. Aerie stood trembling, smoke rising from her hands. Her silver hair floated in the charged air. Ethan ran to her. "You okay?" She smiled faintly. "I think so." But then her eyes widened. The gate behind her was fully awake, spinning faster and faster, glowing so bright it hurt to look at. Ethan turned to see what she was staring at. Inside the gate, a shadow moved. A tall figure stepped through the light. Aerie froze. "No?" Ethan raised his rifle. "Who is it?" Her voice broke. "My mother." The Queen stepped through the portal, tall and graceful, wearing armor that shimmered like liquid gold. Her eyes burned with power, red and blue swirling together. She looked around the ruined chamber, her voice echoing like thunder. "Aerie, my child." Aerie's lips trembled. "Mother." The Queen smiled, not with love, but with sadness. "I searched every star for you. You were taken from me. You made the hunters," Aerie said. "They killed millions. They destroyed worlds. I did it to protect you." The Queen shouted, her voice shaking the walls. "Every world that hid you was my enemy." Ethan stepped forward.
"Enough, she's safe now."
"You don't need to destroy anything else." The Queen turned to him slowly. "Human," she said with disdain. "You helped her?" "I saved her," Ethan said firmly. The Queen raised her hand, energy gathered like fire. "Then you will die first," Aerie screamed, stepping in front of him. "No!" A flash of light burst between them. Blue and red collided. The entire mountain shook. When the dust settled, Ethan was on the ground, his ears ringing. The Queen and Aerie faced each other, their powers burning like twin stars. "Mother," Aerie whispered. The mountain groaned like a dying beast. Rocks fell from the ceiling, fire burned through cracks in the walls. In the middle of the chaos, two figures faced each other, mother and daughter, both shining with power. Aerie's blue light glowed softly, warm and alive. The Queen's red aura burned like fire, angry and sharp. Ethan stood between broken machines, barely breathing. His rifle was gone, his body bruised, but his eyes stayed on Aerie. "Stop!" he shouted, but his voice was drowned by thunder. The queen raised her hand. Lightning formed around her fingers. "You think I wanted this child?" she shouted. "I searched the stars. I destroyed worlds for you." Aerie's voice trembled, full of pain. "You destroyed because of me. You turned love into hate." The queen's eyes flashed. "They lied to me. They said humans killed your father." "They didn't," Aerie cried. "It was your generals. They wanted power and you gave it to them." The queen hesitated. Her red light flickered just for a moment. Doubt entered her heart. But the leader of the hunters, still half broken, spoke from behind her. "Do not listen, my queen. She was corrupted. The human has poisoned her mind." The queen turned to Ethan. "You?" Ethan took a step forward even though his legs shook. "She's telling the truth. You're being used. They're lying to you. They want your throne." "Silence," the hunter roared. It lifted its weapon toward Ethan. Before it fired, Aerie moved. Blue energy burst from her body faster than sight. The hunter exploded into shards of metal. "Enough!" Aerie screamed. "No more lies. No more killing." The queen looked at her daughter. "You have your father's heart," she whispered, "and his weakness." Ethan spoke softly. "Compassion isn't weakness." The queen's red eyes turned to him, burning with anger. "You know nothing of power, human." She lifted her hand, sending a wave of fire toward him. Ethan froze, but Aerie stepped in front of him again. The flame hit her shield, blue against red. The room filled with roaring sound and light. Energy spiraled between them, twisting like a storm. "Mother, please," Aerie cried. "If you kill him, you kill what's left of me." The queen's voice cracked. "He stole you from me." "No," Aerie said softly. "He saved me. He showed me what love really means." The queen lowered her hand slightly, her red aura flickering. For a moment, silence fell. Even the air felt heavy, like the world was holding its breath. Then, a whisper. From the broken machines, a deep metallic voice said, "Queen, Protocol Omega initiated." The lights in the chamber changed. The remaining hunters rose again, but their eyes were no longer red. They were black. Ethan frowned. "What's happening?" Aerie gasped. "They are overriding her control." The queen turned, horrified. "No, they were made to obey me." A metallic laugh echoed through the walls. "Not anymore." From the shadows, new figures appeared, darker, stronger, their bodies twisted with strange energy. Aerie's face went pale. "Mother, they're the ones who killed father." The queen stared at them, shock on her face. "Impossible." Ethan realized it then. "They used your grief. They made you start the war." The queen's anger turned into something else, guilt. Her hands shook. "What have I done?" The black-eyed hunters advanced, their leader speaking with a voice that was both machine and human. "Your time is over, Queen. The throne belongs to us now." Ethan grabbed Aerie's arm. "We need to move." But Aerie stepped forward. "No, this ends here." She looked at her mother. "Together?" The queen looked at her daughter for a long moment, then nodded. "Together." Their lights joined, red and blue twisting into purple fire. The air vibrated with energy. The black hunters opened fire. Bolts of dark energy filled the air. Aerie and the queen moved as one, their powers forming a shield that glowed like a star. Ethan watched in awe as mother and daughter fought side by side, the destroyer and the savior, now united. Every blast that hit their shield turned to light. Every strike they made shattered the enemy into dust. But the leader was powerful. It stepped forward, firing a beam straight through their shield. The queen screamed, falling to her knees. "Mother!" Aerie cried, catching her. The queen's armor cracked, glowing with heat. "My child, it's not enough." Aerie shook her head. "Don't say that." The queen smiled weakly. You must finish it. Take my power. Use it. I can't, Ari whispered. You can, her mother said softly. You are my heart, and his hope. She placed her hand on Ari's chest. Red light flowed into blue, their colors merging. The chamber filled with brilliant light. The queen's body turned to crystal, then to dust, her energy now part of her daughter. Ari stood, glowing brighter than ever. Her voice was calm, steady, but full of pain. You took my father. You used my mother. Now, I end your war. She lifted both hands. The air screamed. A wave of blue and red light exploded outward. The black hunters disintegrated in seconds. Their leader tried to run, but light consumed it too, leaving nothing but silence. When it was over, the mountain was quiet again. Ethan opened his eyes slowly. The ground was cracked, the machines gone. In the center of the room stood Ari, surrounded by soft blue light. He walked toward her carefully. Ari. She turned to him, eyes glowing faintly. It's done. Your mother? He asked gently. Ari smiled sadly. She's gone, but she's with me now. Ethan nodded slowly. What happens next? Ari looked at the glowing gate behind her. The war is over, but the stars are still burning. Someone must stop the fire. Ethan sighed. Then we'll stop it together. Ari looked at him with warmth. You would leave your world. For me? Ethan smiled. You came here by accident. Maybe I was meant to find you. Ari held out her hand. Then come, human, the stars are waiting. He took her hand. The gate pulsed once, then opened with a deep hum. As they stepped into the light, the mountain finally fell silent, and Earth's sky glowed with peace for the first time since the night she arrived. The gate hummed like a giant heartbeat. Blue and red light swirled together, forming a tunnel that seemed endless. Ethan held Ari's hand tightly as they stepped through. At first, there was no sound, no up or down, just colors, spinning, glowing, whispering. Then the light broke apart. They landed hard on solid ground. Ethan gasped, blinking in disbelief. They were standing on a floating island, high above a violet sky. Strange moons hung above them, glowing like lanterns. Below, the clouds sparkled with golden storms. Where are we? Ethan asked, his voice soft with awe. Ari looked around, her silver hair flowing in the strange wind. Between worlds, she said. This is the path of the ancients. It connects the stars. Ethan turned slowly, amazed. It's beautiful. Ari smiled faintly. It used to be. Before the wars. He frowned. What wars? She pointed toward the horizon, where broken pieces of planets floated, shattered and silent. The War of the Nine Queens. My mother was one of them. My father, he tried to end it. Ethan's heart sank. And they killed him. Ari nodded. They feared his power, the power to unite. She touched a glowing stone near them. It flickered and showed a vision. A tall man with gentle eyes standing beside a younger version of the queen, holding a small child in his arms. That's him, Ari whispered. My father. Ethan watched silently. The man smiled in the vision, but his eyes held sadness. He knew this would happen, Ari said. He left something behind, a message, maybe a weapon, hidden in the core of the Starforge. Starforge? Ethan repeated. It's where all energy begins, she explained. If we reach it, we can rebuild the balance or end everything. Ethan sighed. So our next stop is the Starforge. Ari nodded. Yes, but the path won't be safe. They started walking across the floating island. The ground glowed softly under their feet like glass filled with light. Strange flowers grew along the edges, their petals opening and closing with sound. Ethan touched one gently. It sang, a small pure note that faded into the wind. He smiled. Even in broken places there's beauty. Ari looked at him thoughtful. You always see light, even in darkness. That's how humans survive, he said with a grin. For a while they walked in peace, but then the air changed, colder, heavier. The colors dimmed. Ethan frowned. You feel that? Ari nodded slowly. We're being watched. From the shadows of the clouds, shapes began to move. Dark winged creatures, their eyes burning with orange fire. Ethan raised his weapon. What are they? Echoes, Ari said, voice tense. Remnants of the old war. They feed on fear. The creatures shrieked, flying toward them. Ethan fired, the bullets cutting through the air, but they passed through the shadows like smoke. They're not solid, he shouted. Ari closed her eyes, her hands glowing again. Then I'll change that. Blue energy rippled outward, solidifying the air. The creatures became visible, thin, skeletal beings wrapped in smoke. Now, she cried. Ethan aimed again, firing into their glowing eyes. One creature fell, bursting into dust. Another dived toward Ari, but she spun, sending a wave of light that shattered it. Still, more came. Ethan's rifle clicked. Empty. Out of ammo. Ari grabbed his hand. Jump! What? She didn't wait. The ground beneath them cracked open, and together they leapt into the glowing sky. The wind roared around them as they fell through clouds of gold and fire. Then suddenly, silence. They landed softly on another island, smaller but covered in strange stone pillars. Ethan lay on his back, gasping. You could have warned me. Ari smiled. Would you have jumped? He laughed weakly. Probably not. They stood again, looking around. In the center of the island was a crystal pool, glowing softly. Ari walked to it and knelt. This is a memory spring, she said. It shows what was, and what will be. Ethan joined her, peering into the water. Images appeared. The queen, before the war, holding baby Ari and smiling. Then the same queen, older, surrounded by fire and darkness. Then Ethan saw something else, himself, standing on a battlefield under a strange sun, holding a glowing weapon made of light. He blinked. What is that? Ari looked at him with surprise. The spring shows fate. Maybe it's your future. Ethan frowned. Or my end. She placed her hand on his shoulder. Every end is also a beginning. Before he could answer, the water turned dark. A voice echoed from it, deep, cold, and ancient. You cannot reach the Star Forge, it said. The balance must remain broken. Ethan drew back. Who's there? The voice laughed softly. I am the warden of the path. Turn back, or be lost forever. The air grew colder. The ground trembled. From the pool, a massive figure rose, made of light and shadow, wearing armor older than time. Ari stepped forward, defiant. We won't turn back. The warden's eyes glowed like dying stars. Then prove you are worthy of the forge. It raised its hand, and the wind turned to fire. Ethan gripped his weapon. You ready for this? Ari's eyes shone bright blue. Always. The warden stepped closer, its voice echoing through the clouds. Then let the trial begin. The storm exploded around them, light, fire, and thunder, as human and alien faced a god born of forgotten stars. Lightning split the sky. The floating island shook as fire and light circled above it. The warden, tall as a mountain, glowing with ancient power, stepped forward. His voice rolled like thunder. To reach the Star Forge, you must prove your heart is pure. Ethan raised his weapon, trembling but firm. We're not here to fight you. The warden's eyes flared gold. Every traveler says that until they face the truth. Ari stood beside Ethan, her hands glowing blue. We seek balance, not war. The warden's gaze fixed on her. Child of the Queen, your blood has burned worlds. Why should I let you near the forge? Ari took a slow breath. Because I carry both light and shadow. I am not my mother's fury, and not my father's fear. I am what they hoped for. Peace. The warden's face softened, almost sad. Words are wind. Show me your truth. He raised his hand, and the world vanished. Ethan blinked and found himself standing in a ruined city. Smoke, silence, and ashes surrounded him. Buildings were broken, the sky red and low. "Ari?" he called out. No answer. He turned and froze. A figure walked toward him through the smoke. It was himself, but different. Eyes dark, face cold. The other Ethan smiled. "You can't save her. You'll die for nothing." Ethan stepped back. "You're not real." "I'm more real than you think," the dark version said. "When you first found her, you hesitated. You almost left her there in the cold. You help her now because you want to feel like a hero." "That's not true," Ethan said quietly. "Then prove it," the Dark One said, pulling a blade of light from his chest. "Save her by killing me." Ethan froze. "No, I don't need to fight you." The Dark One laughed. "Then she'll die, just like everyone else you failed." He lunged forward. Ethan blocked, their blades clashing with light and sparks. For every strike, Ethan saw his fears. Ari dying, earth burning, his hands stained with fire. He dropped to his knees. "I'm not a hero," he whispered. "I'm just trying to do what's right." The dark version paused and slowly began to fade. "That is enough," it whispered before vanishing into smoke. The red sky broke apart, and Ethan found himself back on the island. Ari was on the ground surrounded by blue fire. She was crying. "Ari!" Ethan ran to her. She looked up, her eyes full of pain. "He showed me everything." "What did you see?" Ethan asked. "My mother's last memory," Ari said softly, "before she became the Queen of War." Ethan knelt beside her. "Tell me." Ari's voice trembled. She begged the High Council to stop the war. They refused, so she took the throne by force and lost her soul doing it. She believed only destruction could bring peace. Tears shone in her silver eyes. I saw her love, her fear. She wasn't evil, just broken. Ethan touched her shoulder gently. "Then you can end what she started." She looked up at the warden, who watched silently. "Is the trial over?" The warden shook his head slowly. "One remains." He pointed toward the glowing gate behind him, vast, golden, spinning faster with every second. "The forge awaits, but it will test both of you. One must stay to close the path, and one must enter to heal it." Ethan frowned. "Close the path?" The warden's eyes dimmed. "Once closed, it can never open again. The one who stays will never return." Ethan looked at Ari. "It's me. I'll stay." She shook her head quickly. "No, you don't belong here. This is my world, my burden." He smiled softly. "Maybe, but I'm the reason you're still fighting. Let me finish it with you." Ari looked into his eyes, human, fragile, but full of courage. "You're impossible," she whispered. "Humans usually are," he said with a grin. They walked toward the golden gate together. The light from the star forge was warm, almost alive. Inside, a giant crystal heart pulsed, the core of creation itself. The warden's voice echoed softly. "Together or apart, your choice will shape the stars." Ethan turned to Ari. "What do we do?" Ari reached for his hand. "We don't choose between life and death. We choose hope." She stepped forward, pulling him with her. Together. The light engulfed them both. For a moment, Ethan saw everything. The stars being born, galaxies spinning, life blooming on countless worlds. He felt Ari's hand in his, steady and warm. A voice, her father's, whispered in the light. "Balance is not peace without pain. It is the courage to love even when you are afraid." Then, silence. The warden stood alone on the island, The gate slowly closed, its light fading. He bowed his head. The balance is restored. The path of the ancients began to shine again, its broken islands reconnecting like pieces of a puzzle. The stars grew brighter, and far away and on Earth, the sky lit up with new constellations. People looked up, seeing two stars side by side, one blue, one gold. Some said it was just light, but others swore they could feel warmth, like a promise that the universe still remembered them. In the heart of the Starforge, beyond time and space, Ari and Ethan stood together looking at the endless stars. He smiled softly. "Guess we made it." Ari nodded. "Yes. Together." They watched the stars burn brighter, knowing they had become part of something greater, something eternal. Two souls, one human, one alien, who saved not just a world, but the meaning of life itself.